Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Over to the New Orleans Saints, who are white hot at this point. Taysom Hill scoring touchdowns. All is right in the Big Easy, and that's why we go to our guy, Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, down in New Orleans. Glenn, where am I going? It's Sharief. Sharief, how are you?
If I'm Glenn West, I'd feel better. I'd be like 7 feet tall.
You'd be tall.
I'd be really tall, and I'd have some kind of athletic ability. But I'm doing well.
Glad to hear that. Taysom Hill's got some athletic ability. What'd you make of his effort on Sunday?
I guess he became the first person to do everything that he did on Sunday. So that's, that would be good. That's the Taysom Hill I think the team wanted whenever the season started. But, of course, at 34 years old, he deals with a lot of injuries now. It feels like we get a Taysom Hill game like this once, maybe twice a year. And I guess they got it at a very crucial junction of the season, as they would say. So, it was good. It was nice to see him, do what he can do, running the ball, obviously. Throwing the ball, I know he probably would love the interception back. And the fumble was just, I guess, a good play. Just ripped the ball out. But, they got the offensive production that they desperately needed from him all season in one game.
Quietly, Trevor Penning coming on in his third year here. What have you seen from him? What have kind of been the reports from the Saints about Penning?
Yeah, in the run game, he's been really good, man. He's been really, fantastic in terms of run blocking. Had that one holding call, I believe, on Myles Garrett, but they neutralized him, and he was part of that. He was part of the reason for the success against Myles Garrett in that game. But, coming into the season, we said, man, this is going to be, a troublesome spot. This is it for Trevor Penning, and you got to give credit to John Benton, the offensive line coach, and his staff around the offensive line and getting Trevor Penning prepared for the season. And he and Fuaga, the two guys, have been healthy all season pretty much, and holding that offensive line down. But he's been fantastic. Up to this, point of the season, 11 games into the season, look, he's done everything you could ask and more.
So do the Saints have their tackles of the future, you think?
I do. I do think that they have the tackles of the future. that's, we came into the season asking that question, who else is going to be good along that offensive line outside of, I actually kind of thought that offensive line was good in three spots, the other two positions, especially at right tackle. And, Penning has answered the call. And I think, let's see how he progresses, and and if he can keep maintaining this throughout the future, not just this season. And yeah, I think he's good at right tackle, and Fuaga is good at left tackle.
Is it fair to say that in this Klint Kubiak system, that the injuries that the Saints sustained at the offensive line spots are even more significant than the injury that they sustained on the outside at wide receiver?
I think it's fair to say with Eric McCoy. You saw that the offense looked better while he was in there, and then he got hurt his groin again.
Yeah.
I think that offensive line is very key for Derek Carr. It was very key in those first two games of the season, and you could tell how key it is in a win like that against the Browns. So I think it's the most important thing. I think they figured it out without Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave in there. MVS is playing well. You have some of the other guys chipping in. You had Kevin Austin. You have Dante Pettis playing. Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau out there catching passes. So they figured it out, but I think it's due to the offensive line and being able to keep Derek Carr upright and the play action game, obviously. I think Kubiak has done a good job of rolling Carr out of the pocket when he's in trouble at times, and he's also done a good job of just avoiding some of the pressures and sacks.
That's one of the only young position groups on the team is offensive line. So does that give you hope for the future moving forward, that can be kind of the linchpin of what the Saints are, whatever the next iteration of the Saints is?
Well, it needs to be, Hunt, because how many draft picks have they spent on
a lot.
The offensive line? A lot, right? It's gotten there, whether if it's in a crazy way. Yes, the offensive line has finally gotten to the status that they wanted. No matter where they pick these draft picks at, it's finally starting to show. You're pinning Rizzi and Fuaga were all first-round pick. McCoy was a second-round pick. Now, if they can just figure out, and know if at the other guard position, whether it's Saldiveri or Lucas Patrick down the line, but maybe it's Saldiveri, and maybe next year you're looking at it, hey, this could be what we're looking forward to, is that linchpin of the offensive line. That those are the guys. Those are the 5 guys. And we should be set if they can stay healthy.
That's always the major if with any team, and certainly the Saints not immune from that. They've also gotten the tight ends involved a little bit because the wide receivers aren't all that impactful. And you saw Boston Mora, you saw, of course, Taysom, and then you also saw Juwan Johnson with a touchdown catch. So do you expect to see more tight end usage and then Kamara in the passing game than wide receiver moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, you have to at this point. I mean, you got to get them involved, got to get those guys involved. I think you get those 3 guys involved, it takes the pressure off of AK. I mean, that's the one thing that Darren Rizzi said after the game with Taysom's game. It really alleviated a lot of the pressure from Alvin and not having to do too much. Now, if you get those, other 2 guys a little bit more involved in Juwan and Foster, yeah, I mean, this offense, it looks decent. It looks decent to finish the season. I mean, it'd be nice if you had Rashid and Chris in this offense, because who knows? I mean, MVS, has that downfield explosive play, but if you had Rashid Shaheed with him alongside, that could be somewhat of a scary downfield situation for opposing secondaries. But yeah, those tight ends have to be, very productive here moving forward in order to keep it, keep that offense moving.
Do you think Darren Rizzi is a viable candidate to be the Saints' next head coach?
This is something we're going to discuss Thursday, and we're going to have a big, panel here at WDSU. I mean, where do they go from here? Darren Rizzi is the flavor of the month here right now. I mean, he relates to the everyday person. I mean, he's a great soundbite, and players love him. The 2 things that they preach when it comes to Darren, and Darren preaches it, is accountability and unity. And he has the players' backs, and I think that players love that, and that resonates throughout the entire locker room. He'll have a chance, Hunt, but it's the chance would be like essentially finishing 5-1 the rest of the way. If they go 5-1, and I'm stuck into the part where they have to make the playoffs under Darren Rizzi for him to get the job. I really do. I mean, the guy's injected life, energy, passion into this franchise, not just the team, the entire franchise and the fan base. So, to me, a good associate head coach, good special teams coach, I think he would have to make the playoffs in order to become the head coach. But crazier things have happened with this franchise. They may, you saw it happen with Coach O at LSU, man. Got hot. Players responded to it, and they kept them, and they won a national championship. And maybe Rizzi wins the rest of these games. Who knows? I don't know. They have some tough teams to play as they get towards the end of the season.
Defense has played better the last 2 weeks. Dennis Allen moving on. What do you make of that?
I think some of the moves along that defense, putting Brian Young in charge of the defensive line has helped, in terms of being a little bit more productive in run defense. I mean, I think they only gave up 65 yards this week against the Browns, but there was the secondary that really struggled. They struggled a lot. I mean, I think Alontae Taylor is struggling out there. Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid's essentially first game back, and Ugo Amadi back there. I think more of the secondary struggled this week than the run game. I think that it's better. It's getting better under Joe Woods calling plays. I mean, you knew this was going to be an adjustment period whenever you started making changes like this. When Rizzi put him in charge and you moved Todd Grantham off the line and you're making a bunch of shuffles, it was going to be a work in progress. It's not, finished product. It's not 100%, but at least you're seeing a little bit better progress with the defensive line. And you're playing Cam Jordan more snaps and increase role what he wanted, and I think maybe you're starting to see a little bit better play from the defensive line since you put him in there.
Got big bye week plans?
No, not really, man. I'm just chilling. And bye week is great. I kind of like it this late in the season. The weather cools off a little bit. Can just chill and watch football without having to not get mad, which I've apparently got.
You want to
mad.
come to Baton Rouge and watch LSU wear gold jerseys?
No, I think I got a little too mad this past week. I think I'm going to have to chill a little bit with LSU with these final 2 games.
Well, I think there are a lot of people that are taking that advice for the next 2 games for LSU. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.